Hey everyone, welcome. Today, we're going to dive into a really big question in education. How do we genuinely unlock the potential of our multilingual students? We're going to be looking at a tool called AlloFlow that was built from the ground up to do exactly that. So, let's see how it works.
All right, so this is really the core of the issue, right? You've got a brilliant student just full of ideas, but they're still in the process of learning the language of the classroom. So how do you make sure that language gap doesn't turn into a learning gap? It's a massive challenge for sure.
So what AlloFlow does is pretty smart. It breaks this whole challenge down into three main roadblocks. First, you got that wall of dense, hard-to-read text. Then there's all that specific academic vocabulary that can just stop understanding in its tracks. And finally, students really struggle to show you what they know if they don't have the words yet. We're going to tackle each one of these.
Okay, first up, let's jump right into that initial barrier, the text itself. How do we make some really complex reading material feel approachable without just, dumbing down the content?
I mean, picture this. A student flips open a book, and they're just hit with this page packed with complex sentences and words they've never seen before. It's just overwhelming. And for a lot of students, that's the exact moment they check out.
And here is AlloFlow's answer to that wall of text. It's not just about making things simpler, it's about making them different for each student. The Leveled Reader tool can actually rewrite text to a specific grade or proficiency level, keeping all the core ideas there, but just making the language way more accessible.
But, and this is the really cool part, it goes so much further than just rewriting. The Immersive Reader is like an entire toolkit for reading. Students can translate text in a snap, listen to it read aloud with this cool karaoke-style highlighting. They can even highlight different parts of speech to see how sentences work, or break words down into syllables. It's literally a complete support system designed to build their confidence.
And that quote right there, it just perfectly sums up the whole philosophy. This isn't about some one-size-fits-all solution. It's about giving every student flexible options so they can get to the information in the way that truly works for them.
Okay, so we've got the text handled. But what about the next major hurdle? All that academic vocabulary. I mean, even if the sentences are simple, a student is still going to be stuck if they don't know what mitosis or allegory means.
You know the ones I'm talking about, right? These are those super important words, sometimes called Tier 2 and Tier 3, that are specific to subjects like science or history or literature. For a lot of learners, these words are basically the gatekeepers to really understanding the subject.
So AlloFlow's solution here is something called the Smart Glossary. And let me tell you, it is so much more than just a list of definitions. It's this interactive, visual, and fun learning tool. It automatically pulls out the key terms from a text and builds this incredibly rich resource for the students.
What's so powerful here is that it's coming at the problem from all these different angles. A student doesn't just get a boring text definition. They see the word, they see an AI-generated image that goes with it, they can hear how it's pronounced correctly, and they can read the definition in their native language. Plus, it even makes bilingual flashcards for them to practice with.
And get this, you can add up to 4 different target languages to a single glossary. So imagine you're in a classroom with students who speak Spanish, Arabic, and Korean. You can create one single resource that supports all of them at the same time. It's just an incredible bridge to help them build that vocabulary.
Okay, so we've made the text accessible. Check. We've built a vocabulary bridge. Check. But what about that third big barrier? How do students actually show us what they know? How do they express all that understanding?
Think about it. A student might totally get a concept in their head, but they just can't get the words out to write a paragraph or join a class discussion. If we only rely on traditional essays, we might be completely missing how much a student actually understands.
This is where AlloFlow really opens things up, offering a bunch of different ways for students to show what they know. For writing, you've got sentence starters and paragraph frames to give them structure. For more visual thinkers, there are bilingual concept maps. And this is huge. Voice dictation lets them just speak their answers. It even has this predictive FAQ with bilingual audio to help them find answers on their own.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. These tools are amazing on their own, but the real magic is how they're all woven together into this completely supportive environment. And this right here is the absolute heart of the design. Language support isn't some buried feature you have to go digging for. It's part of the application's DNA. It wasn't an afterthought. It was the whole point from the very beginning. I mean, look at how easy this is. A student doesn't have to fight to figure out the tool itself. They can just type in their language, and the entire interface, every button, every menu, every single instruction translates. This takes away all that extra mental energy so they can just focus on learning the actual content.
And it's not just about language either. The built-in Accessibility Hub offers this whole other layer of support that frankly benefits all learners, but it's especially vital for students who might be facing multiple challenges. We're talking dyslexia-friendly fonts, color overlays to reduce visual stress, and full control over audio voices and speeds. The entire environment can be personalized for anyone.
So when you put it all together, the big takeaway is this. This isn't just some regular tool with a few translation features bolted on at the end. Every single thing we've looked at, from the leveled reader to the interface itself, was clearly designed from day one for a multilingual, diverse world.
And that really leaves us with this big, final question to think about. When we stop treating multilingualism as a barrier to overcome, and we start seeing it as a reality to design for, what actually becomes possible? What happens when every single student has the tools they need to fully and deeply engage with grade-level content? It's a pretty powerful vision for a much more equitable future in education.